So this video is going to be interesting because you're going to get some insight from a Gen X. My own mother, she came from Portland, Oregon. She's here for the week, seeing Michigan. But you're going to get some insight as to what she thinks about early retirement, debt-free living, kind of what her mindset, right, as she was being raised, right, what that mindset was back then, and how she views that now as she sees her own son and daughter-in-law, Grace, living debt-free and retired early. You're going to see some of the challenges that we face, the challenges that she faced. And so it's going to be really interesting. Let's dive in. So, Mom, so what does debt-free living or debt-free, what does that mean to you?
I think debt free to me pretty much means not stressing about finances.
Yes. Was debt-free like a thing, like in your time, or just as you were raised, debt-free living, was that term ever used?
No, not really. It was just more of finish school, get an education, work hard so you can retire.
Got it. And so speaking of retirement, I guess early retirement, retire early. What does that mean to you?
Being debt free. But for me, the way I was brought up, it was like it was going to take a long time to get there. It was going to be when you're 60 plus, and then doing whatever you want to do without having to work and hopefully be financially secure.
Got it. So it's just kind of like retirement was 60 and over.
Then you can enjoy life.
Okay. So was there a number associated with that? Like, was it just 60 in retirement, or was there an actual number associated with like retirement? Like a number that someone needed in order to retire?
No, just, make sure that you have 401k, make sure that you think about your retirement. And again, work hard so you can get there.
So can you kind of shed some light on how you were raised, I guess, around money, between high school, college, and up till this point?
So again, it was pretty much make sure you stay in school, make sure you get good grades, think about college, get a good education, get a good job, and work hard so you can have a good retirement. So, at a young age, you were just pretty much thinking, that's a long ways, for me to get there. But as I've gotten, older, I've kind of realized, well, what at 60 plus, then that's when you start having your health problems and you start, there's just more stresses and more things that come up in your life. So you're just like, well, am I really going to be able to enjoy retirement or what you want to do when, am I going to be able to walk? Am I going to be able to, function, at that age? But that was never really discussed. That was never really looked at. You just didn't, it was like far off, something that you just would eventually get there.
So like work hard, get a good education, and then just get a job, and then maybe when you're 60, you can finally start enjoying your life. And that's kind of like, I feel like that was kind of portrayed towards, that's how I was raised, right? Because that's how you were taught, that's how I was taught. And so like at that moment when I told you, when I was deciding to move across the US, I wanted to, and you knew that I was on a debt-free journey a little bit. So I guess what was going on in your mind when I told you, Mom, I want to live debt-free and I want to retire early just so I can live life on my own terms? And what was your thought process behind that? Like, how did that hit you?
I was like, wow. Got a bit jealous because that just was never, I didn't have that mindset, So you kind of opened my eyes, to that mindset. But because I moved from California to the Northwest 15 plus years ago and did it, for me, seeing that you were doing it, realized that you were trying to figure that out, and you did. I don't think if I would have taken that big step to move from California to the Northwest, I don't think I would have understood. But I've as I've grown a little older, I've kind of had that motto that what if you do it? it could be a success. What if you don't do it? Will you regret what you might not, what if I did that? I could have done this, I could have done that. So why not? If you fall or you mess up or it wasn't the right decision, then you get up and you try it again and you try another path and stuff. So I think that big move helped me realize to not be afraid of doing something that you've never done before.
And so then when you saw me do it, at first you were like, I don't know about this. So were you just kind of scared for me?
I was
Grace,
scared
or?
for you, but it was like, wow, I never thought about that. Because that was just never a mindset that I was raised with or that you heard of.
Yeah. I know, like that. I've been telling just some of my friends or even just some other family members, telling them that I was doing this or my vision, my wife and I's vision. Like it's just really, it's really complicated to, I guess, put into words. Or not even just that, put into words, because I just did. But I guess that mindset, like you said, like just saying that. What do you mean you want to enjoy your life now? You have to work until you're 60 to start living your best life. And so like that hitting you, I guess maybe for some people out there that are my age and are wanting to do this, what would you, how would you tell them to approach their parents or maybe some family members that have the same mindset that you were raised with?
Again, I just realizing that the decisions that you make now are going to affect your future. So why not? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of risk. Don't be afraid. Don't let that fear direct your path.
Yeah.
Because then you'll. I wonder, if I would have stayed in California, where all my family is.
Yeah. That's where all my family on my mom's side are from.
Right.
So.
So if I would have stayed there, I wonder now, what would have happened? Where would I be?
Yeah. So how would you tell someone to face their fear? How would you encourage someone to, if they're afraid to make a leap, afraid to make a change, to live the life that they want, I guess, how would you encourage them to take that leap and face their fear?
Just do it.
Just do it. Simple as that, right?
And sometimes, I didn't have well, I didn't tell anybody that I was moving to the Northwest. I just told you and your sister, what if we did this? And you were excited about it. But it was a 2-year kind of a process. It's not something that just kind of like, okay, I'm going to move to the Northwest and it happened next week. It was a 2-year process, and when it did happen, everything just kind of fell in place. Okay. And then that's when I had peace of mind, that I knew that this was the right decision. And until this day, I've asked you and your sister, that move, do you ever regret it? And
I don't think so, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Exactly. You wouldn't have married,
Yeah, I would have found Grace, because that's where I found my wife. And
I believe the decisions that you make now, just do it,
Just do it.
And if you do fall, or if it wasn't the right decision, then you just get up and you try something else,
Okay.
And it helps to have a partner there that is there, who is having the same goals, having the same mindset, because then you're stronger together.
Yes.
Not to say that you can't do it independently as a single mom, because I did it, but two sometimes are stronger than one. But
definitely. I like what you said about like the process. It was like a 2-year process for you, right? To kind of prepare for the move and for this change. And so sometimes change takes time, right? And I feel like you had to kind of get clear about and peace in your own heart and mind, and through prayer, like, okay, is this something that I want to do? And so getting kind of like your vision and your why about why you wanted to move, get that clear in your heart before you actually did it. And so sometimes change is a process, right? It's not something you just completely do, just random, right? You prepare for it. So like my wife and I, we did prepare for this move across the country. We had traveled around the U.S., seen Michigan, made our way back to Portland, and then decided, okay, well, where do we have the most peace? And like, where can we see raising a family? And we considered some factors like, cost of living, political, and just like, community and different things like that. And so it was a process before we decided to move to Michigan. And so I like that you pointed that out. It's a process, right? Things don't just happen, and takes planning.
It was actually just I had a business meeting in Vancouver, and one of my colleagues just mentioned, "You ever thought about moving out here?" no, why would I move out there? All my family's in California.
Yeah.
So that little seed was just kind of like, why not? And then that's kind of when I discussed it with you kids. I didn't want to discuss it with the rest of my family because I didn't know if it was really just a crazy thing, a crazy idea,
Yeah.
or was it something that would actually could happen.
Do you think we should share those thoughts with people before we process them? Because like I guess you said that you had that idea and you had that thought, but you didn't share it with your parents
No, I didn't share it with anybody except
until. So at what point did you share it with your parents? that
when
you
I
were
had a
moving?
job. I mean, since
Lined
I
up?
was when I had a job already lined up, and that
Okay.
was because I had you and your sister. So
Okay.
I wasn't just on my own, just like, okay, we're just gonna be spontaneous and do this, you know. So I had to make sure I had a job lined up. So when that job finally came after 2 years, that's when I gave the family the news. It was hard, you know, because it was something nobody in the family really ever did, you know, like out of state. I was out of
Yes.
state. It wasn't just moving to Sacramento.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, are you mad at us, or, you know, what is the issue, you know? So did you think about this? Did you think about that? And all this stuff. And I did for 2 years. And that's why after that time, that's why I said I didn't want to discuss it with anybody because I didn't even know if it was going to be reality.
Got it.
So
That's interesting. So you kind of saved it, worked through it yourself because you didn't want your mind changed or influenced.
I know it would have
right?
been easily changed and influenced.
Okay.
And I wanted this to be my decision that nobody could influence. And if it was going to happen, it was going to happen because it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make it happen. And so that's why it was kind of a 2-year process. So when I got that final, we need a decision in 1 week, I'm like, oh my goodness, now I got to tell family. So that's when it became a reality. But at that time, that's when I felt peace about it. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes. How has your perspective changed now as you see my wife and I, Grace, living the way we are? What is your perspective now?
Now that I've come and visited Michigan, because at first it was like, Michigan, you know,
Yeah.
couldn't you pick any place further?
Country
You
picking
know?
place.
But now that I've had the opportunity to come and visit, it's a beautiful place. Michigan's a beautiful place. You know, I'm like, maybe I wouldn't mind coming in, you know, coming out here and living. But it's made me think about to have a different, to be open-minded and have a different mindset, and you know, start thinking. You know, oh, yes, I'm 50 plus, but do I have to wait till 60? You know, to do this? You know, I think because what I've seen in your journey and with you and Grace, I know it's possible. And so seeing that, not just saying it, but doing it and seeing it makes me know that it's real and that it can happen, you know. And maybe not everybody's going to decide to move to Michigan, you know. It might be Iceland or Alaska or whatever it might be, you know. But know that you might not be supported. You might not, you're going to have those negative influences and stuff. But I would say if that's what your decision is, stick with it. And if you do fall, well, try something else. And like I said, my motto is, what if? If I don't do it, then what could I have regretted? What could I have lost out on? So
I think that's something that's helped me, like, and my wife kind of just through this process. Like, we don't want to have that regret. We don't have any regrets. Like, if we feel something in our heart that we want to do and we're both on the same page about it, like, let's not be afraid. Let's just do it. And if we fall or fail, we just get back up, right? And that's it.
right.
So
And try something else.
exactly.
Right.
But
Just like I tell your brothers, you know, whether it's soccer or baseball, whatever. If you don't try it, how are you going to know if you like it if you don't try it, right?
exactly. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And, you know, if you're kind of struggling to figure out what you want, how you want to live your life, that was something that was really hard for my wife and I to kind of navigate through. So I put together a guide for you, and it's free, and it's in the description below, and it'll really help you kind of structure your thoughts, right? So it doesn't require journaling or a vision board or anything like that, but no, just a simple process for you to kind of get your thoughts straight and figure out how you want to live your life so you can just live life on your own terms. And so I hope that helps, but we'll see you in the next video.